Hey there everyone, welcome to another Impressions video, and today we're going to be talking about Blood Bowl 2. And this is Blood Bowl 2 on the PS4, it's also on the PC, probably on Xbox One, I don't really know though. I guess it is though. But okay, we've got Blood Bowl here, and you're looking at this Blood Bowl and you're thinking, what the hell is that? It's football? It is football. It looks like, you're thinking like, oh, awesome, another Mutant League football kind of game where you're like playing football, but there's monsters and mutants and you kill stuff. Not exactly. Sort of, but not exactly. Um, Blood Bowl 2. If you know what Blood Bowl is, you probably already know what this game is like because you've probably played Blood Bowl. But Blood Bowl is not exactly a super commonly known game for normal people, I think, because first, it's like been out of print for 20 years or so. It's not even something you can buy normally, the actual game, which is a board game. Kind of a board game. A miniatures board game. But it's made by Games Workshop, the people who make Warhammer and Warhammer 40k and various other things like what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of all the other games like Space Hulk and stuff like that. But again, this one is like way out of print, Blood Bowl. But Blood Bowl 2 is kind of an update to the previous game, which was Blood Bowl, which was on the 360 and PC and PSP. But this game does a lot of things better than the original Blood Bowl. And the original Blood Bowl is good. Don't get me wrong. I liked that game. Even on the PSP version, which is the most gimped version, it's still good. But Blood Bowl here is the best way to explain it for someone who's never played the board game is it's kind of like playing a strategy RPG football game. Everything is turn based, so you have your sides. Each team is a side, and they move individually in a grid pattern. So you have a certain amount of movement points, and you move on a grid. It's just like a strategy RPG. And the characters gain experience for doing things in the game. They get special abilities when they level up. They have levels. It's very much like a football strategy RPG. So if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned because I'll talk more about this. So, Blood Bowl 2, you start off with there's two modes. There's like kind of an online game mode where you can build your own team and fight people online, or you can go against the computer too. It's not like you need to be online. But you can do an online league tournaments between players, and you can do this kind of thing where you make your own team and you play a team through a season. Essentially, you keep your team and the characters will level up. Sometimes they'll get injured, they'll get killed, things will happen to your team. So your team is constantly evolving. And in some cases they're literally evolving because some other races gain like weird kind of mutations where they'll get extra heads or arms and things, and it helps you in the game. But so that's the 10 of team mode, and then you have the campaign mode. And if you're going to play this game, Blood Bowl 2, you should hop into the campaign mode before you do anything. Because unless you're like good at Blood Bowl already, like you know how it works, you know the rules, then you can just hop right into the league mode, you'll be fine. But the campaign mode in this game is done really well because in the previous game, like it was just like a gigantic tutorial right in the beginning telling you like a million rules, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And you just kind of had to wing it. And I think that might have turned a lot of people off to it because you get into it and you just like, I don't know what the hell is going on. But Blood Bowl 2 does it in a really good way because the campaign mode is set up to slowly feed you the rules per match. So like the first match you play is really this kind of simple match where it's just like kind of like a caveman football match where just like you go turn for turn. There's no like ball turnovers for like getting hit or getting someone injured or something. You just kind of play all your team on your turn, and the opposing team will play all their guys on their turn, and then it switches back and forth. It's really simple. And then like in the next part of the campaign, they keep adding a layer of to the rules. So eventually, like you get to that stage and you'll get to the next stage and they'll be like, oh, there's this different rule now. So now there's like weather effects or there's like weird kind of um, things that might happen. Like in the game, fans could rush the field and knock people out, or they'll like add extra kind of scenario things, and they'll add the full depth of the rules to the game by each like say stage of the campaign. So it's done in a way where like it's really easy to pick up because you kind of slowly are kind of drip fed the rules, and it makes it like you get to the basics right in the beginning, and then like the next stage you get a new thing and you kind of learn it while playing that stage, and you're like, okay, I get this rule, and then you move to the next part and you get another rule added on top of the rules you've already learned, and it just keeps doing that until you've got the entire game, and then like it's built to kind of go into your tournament mode with your team. The only downside I think to the campaign, I mean, the story is goofy and all, but like it's Blood Bowl. What do you expect? It's supposed to be kind of this goofy, kind of tongue in cheek kind of thing. But the only downside of the campaign is that you have to play humans, and it's like a set team. So there are kind of set events where you'll get set players, and there are kind of like hero players that are better than the other players, and they're stronger and they have more health, they can move faster, or have some special abilities that other players don't have. But it's set that way in the campaign, so you have to be humans. But in the team mode, there's maybe 8 different factions, and I it's not like 8 different races though, because there's like Bretonians and Empire, and they're both human, and like Chaos is essentially well, Chaos has Beastmen and stuff too, so it's humans and Beastmen, and like I think anybody can use ogres. They're kind of in the human team, and there's Skaven and elves and dark elves, and I think that might be it. Oh, there's dwarves too. I might be forgetting one, but generally that's oh, orcs. They're on the cover of the box. Orcs is the other team I'm forgetting. So yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of teams you can make your own, but because you play the campaign with the humans, you're kind of used to playing with them, and then you'll like start a campaign with a team. Like I started a Skaven team, and it was like there was like a bit of a kind of growing pains with that, where like I started off and I was just like, this, oh wow, it's really different to play with Skaven. So I think depending on the team you pick, the feel of the game changes drastically, because it goes really like I had to really change my strategies a lot when I was playing as Skaven. So I haven't tried a lot of the other teams. Like I didn't try dwarves or orcs or elves, but so there is more to it, and I'm sure each of those teams have their own special kind of feel to them. So it's a really interesting game. I think like if you're really interested in each team, you could set up build your own team for each race and kind of play through. There's a ton of stuff to do in terms of that. So it is a lot of fun. It's like playing a strategy RPG against another person, which is it's an interesting concept. I mean, originally again, it's a board game where it's based on football. So there is a ball, and you have like in zones, and you can throw the ball and hand off the ball, pass the ball, that kind of thing. And there are sacks, and there's plays, and there's ways that the ball can change. There's interceptions. It works like football, except it plays like a one-on-one strategy RPG in a kind of brutal football environment where sometimes wacky things happen. You can use magic and stuff. So it's a crazy kind of situation where if you are interested in I think games workshop stuff, but you've never played Blood Bowl, this game is like a really good intro to it, because it is like a pretty faithful conversion of the board game. I don't think it has as many teams. Maybe it does, but I think maybe there could be DLC teams. I don't really know, but there are, as far as the board game goes, like it plays just like the board game, and because the rules are somewhat complicated, like it's easier to play the video game version than the board game version, if only because it calculates all the rolls you have to make automatically. So I think it works really well. So if you're a fan of Blood Bowl and you just like, man, I want to play Blood Bowl again, but I don't want to have to hunt down a 20-year-old copy of it and then like build a team from miniatures that I'll have to hunt down because they're 20 years out of print. And if you're thinking that, but you're thinking like, yeah, playing Blood Bowl again would be cool. This is a great option for that because that's how I felt. Like I thought, like, oh, I want to play Blood Bowl, but who the hell is going to play Blood Bowl with me in Japan? Nobody. And I thought, and like I have friends in the U.S. who would play Blood Bowl with me if I had it. But again, I don't, and I'm not in the U.S. anymore. So, you know, this is the kind of thing where like be able to play against a computer opponent, be able to play against people online, like it's a really good option for Blood Bowl players. And I know that I think Games Workshop is actually going to be re-releasing these kind of minor games that they used to make, Blood Bowl and Necromunda and a bunch of other ones too. But and I'll look forward to that because I want to start playing a bunch of those. But currently, this is probably the best way to play Blood Bowl, if only because it's a lot less expensive than buying miniatures and hunting down a box. I mean, for some people that's a lot of the fun, but I just enjoy the game itself. So, yeah, Blood Bowl. I want to think of some other stuff to say about it because I don't feel like I've explained it entirely. But the teams themselves are all really different. Like I mentioned that playing as the Skaven were different, but it's because the teams have their own characteristics. So, for example, the humans are just kind of your middle of the road standard team, like they are in any kind of like fantasy situation. Like if you're playing any kind of fantasy or RPG, the human is always just like the average dude. And even pen and paper RPGs, they're usually like the average dude. But so like I'm saying, when I was the Skaven are weak. They get hurt easily. They get they take damage. They have like a higher percentage to be knocked out or be injured. And they they're kind of like just a fast team. So they're able to run really fast. They can go much farther than most people, but again, they're weak. So if they get hit, there's a good chance they're going to take damage or die. I mean, which is bad. You don't want your team to die. But so all of those things are, for the team. Like I've played against all the teams, but I haven't played as the teams. But some of the teams, the dwarves have like a dwarven war machine kind of thing that they can use as their team, which is bad. I mean, badass. It's it was like the worst part of the fighting the dwarves was that they had that thing. It was like such a hard thing to handle because like just hard to take out. The orcs are kind of like bashers. Like they're good at the kind of rushing game where they can just block and hit really hard. They're not much of a passing team, whereas the elves are like kind of a fast-paced, passing-focused team. So you have all these different kind of qualities to each team. So like if you have your play style, you kind of pick a team that kind of fits your play style and run with it. And or I mean, otherwise you can just pick the team you like and kind of get used to their play style yourself. I mean, there's not anything you can do really. The team is yours to make, but obviously the teams have certain limitations where you can't like make an entire team of ogres or something. I mean, not that you'd want to. It would probably not be a very good team. But yeah, Blood Bowl itself is just a really fun game, and I think what is bad about Blood Bowl, what they don't do with Blood Bowl that they should do is like explain what it is. And I think like that's kind of a hard deal because looking at it, it looks like an action game. It looks like a if you were to buy it, you didn't know anything about it. You saw it on the shelf and you were just like, hey, here's Blood Bowl. It looks like a fantasy football game, not like fantasy football like sports nerds play on Yahoo or whatever, but a football game with fantasy characters, and it looks like it's going to be this kind of like Madden reskin with violence, well, ultra violence and fantasy characters. But it's not nothing like that because it's turn based and It's like a strategy game essentially. But I think that's like the thing that they don't mention enough. Like, it's a strategy game, and if you like strategy games, you'll like Blood Bowl. But if you wanted like an action football game, like the reincarnation of Mutant League Football, and you saw this and you thought this is it, you'd be really disappointed when you played it. And if you didn't, if you knew what it was, you knew it's a strategy game, and you're just like, that looks interesting. It is. It's a really fun game. Like, I couldn't put it down. I kept playing it all the time. Like, again, I was sick, so I was just stuck at home. But I was stuck at home playing Blood Bowl. So like, even though I was like feeling awful, Blood Bowl was there, so at least I was entertained, and that's really all you can ask for with a game. So yeah, do I recommend Blood Bowl 2? Yes. If, and as a matter of fact, if anybody gets Blood Bowl 2 or has Blood Bowl 2, tell me, because I will play. I will play online. I'll re-sign up for PlayStation Plus because I haven't had it for months because I've been playing any games. And I will play you. I'll play you. You can face my weak, low-level Skaven team, or I'll just make a new team, whatever. So tell me if anybody has Blood Bowl 2, I will join you and play. Or if you feel like what I told you sounds interesting and you're like, I'm gonna run out and buy Blood Bowl 2. I think it's like pretty cheap now too, or it's like not $60 anymore at least. Run out and get it, and just tell me if you get it or you have it, and I will play, because not enough people have it. I don't think anybody who I know, I think some people have it, but they might have it on the PC and not on the PS4. So I haven't, had the chance to play anybody that I know, at least online. So, yeah, Blood Bowl 2, good stuff. So check that out, and I will see you guys next time.